All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm saying morning to the East Coast. Hey, Anne, how are you? Punam, good to see you. Roberta, Margaret, great to have you here. Tammy, hello.
I'm new.
How are you?
Good.
Judith, good to see you. It's been a while. Gwendolyn, Barbara, Beth, lovely. Michael and
Michelle,
Michelle, excuse me. Michelle, have I had you in a class before or in one of these
yes,
before?
yeah. No, you had me in the Smithsonian class.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
good. Cool. Harmony, Barbara, and Anchi, or Anki.
Hi,
Anyways,
Anchi.
Anchi, great to
Hi,
have you here.
hi, Leo. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very good. All right, everyone. Welcome to the practice hour. I'm so happy you could join. This practice hour, I've chosen a piece that has um, sort of I was thinking about the seasons and I was thinking, oh, the seasons are changing, but I was looking through the images that I've been sort of practicing recently, and I don't really have much good autumn foliage, so maybe we'll save that for November. But there is something that I've been sort of returning to in my life that goes with the image that we'll be practicing on today. Before we get into that real quick, there is one thing I'd like to share with you all. We are here for practice. Okay. But if you are looking for even more opportunities to practice, um, I want to direct your attention to a workshop. There we go. That I will be hosting at the end of the month, all by myself. I'm a big boy now, and I could do these programs on my own. So, my color and action workshop at the end of the month will be an opportunity to learn a specific strategy in color and apply it to a painting from start to finish. And that's something that we will be doing together throughout the course of the 2 hour workshop. It will be on October 26th. All right. And I am going to share this page with you all in case you are interested to learn more and would like to reserve your spot. But um, it's a unique chance to sort of it's my color strategy, how I distill and analyze paintings to streamline color mixing and just painting in general on my in my work. So the time has come to share it and actually practice it on a painting from start
Quick
to finish
question.
together.
What kind of paint?
Watercolor.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool. Anyways, so that's at the end of the month. I will include a link for that. Of course, this series is brought to you in collaboration with the Leo Marchutz School of Painting and Drawing. They have great programs online and in person and abroad. So be sure to check them out. I will include a link to their programs as well. And I think that's all I have to highlight at the beginning. I think we can go straight to the slide. So, the seasons are changing. At least here in Dublin, it already feels like it's winter time. So I was looking at a bunch of Corot lately and practicing some Corot, and I found this one of this woman reading. And I thought, you know what? That's perfect for today because honestly, this whole weekend with temperatures dropping and no sunshine, all I wanted to do is stay inside and read. And luckily for her, she gets to go outside and read. But I don't know. Just as things get colder and darker here, that's the mood that I am transitioning into. So we're going to work on this painting of a woman reading by Corot. All right. And I will um, share just the regular guidelines and reminders. Um, so the practice hour is an opportunity for artists to get some practice. This is not a class. I don't have a planned lesson. When working from a masterwork like this, the goal is not to make a forgery, but to have your own experience with the masterwork and practice putting it together according to whatever key relationships and essential elements you see. The idea is to make your own parallel image with your own touch. it can still be an opportunity to learn. I'll be sharing insights about my process as the session unfolds. So feel free to ask questions as well if you're watching me work and you're curious about something. I'm always happy to share and elaborate more on what I am doing or why I've decided to do something a certain way. However, if you don't have anything to say, I ask that you remain muted just to eliminate any distracting background noise.
I have a question
Of course, Roberta.
about strategy. Would you pencil this in at all or do anything to define it, or would you approach this strictly with watercolor?
Roberta, you've caught me on a very funny week because I kind of feel in between processes at the moment. I think generally 90% of the time I wouldn't pencil anything in. I think I would just go for it. I think I would look at key light areas, okay? The book, her shoulder here, her hand here, parts of the background. Typically, I look for what is lightest and I just make a mental note generally where those are in my paper or where they will be on my paper, and I try to protect them. But otherwise, I just go in straight with paint. I don't try to pencil things in. That doesn't mean that you can't. And actually, when I selected this, that thought definitely crossed my mind. Like, well, Nick, what if you just tried something different? Um, so the short answer is I wouldn't pencil this in normally. However, in a couple minutes, you may see me pencil this in just because I want to try something new.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, we are equal opportunity here. Equal all processes are welcome in the practice hour. Um, the last thing I'll say is if you're in your creative zone, and you just want to work, feel free to mute me. All right, that is totally an acceptable way to use this. Special thank you to all of our returning participants who regularly contribute. We are happy to offer this monthly online practice hour at no cost to our community. If you are enjoying the program, please consider making a donation to support the mission of the Leo Marchutz School of Painting and Drawing. Right? So I'll have 3 links for you coming in the chat right now. The first will be my color in, the first will be, so there we go. The Marchutz School programs. Second will be my Color in Action workshop at the end of this month, where we can paint more together. And finally, if you'd like to make a donation to support the school, that will be the third link. So feel free to click on those now if you'd like, maybe minimize the windows so you have them later. And me, I'm gonna get ready so I can jump in to this painting with you all. Um, Yeah, Roberta's question is quite timely and funny, sort of. I think, believe it or not, as someone who teaches watercolor and someone who's, you know, starting to put on more watercolor programs online and stuff like that. And I just started a in-person class here using watercolor here in Dublin. Um, believe it or not, I get watercolored out sometimes. So, and I was definitely feeling that way maybe Friday and yesterday as I was painting. Um, so I feel something in me, like kind of like I was talking about seasons change, like processes change, even my own, whatever medium I feel myself pulled toward can change or inspired by can change. I think that's pretty normal. Um, So yeah, I've been feeling a little bit watercolored out, but I do want to paint. I don't want to draw. So I may try some things that I don't normally try in these sessions today with you all. And I'll talk a little bit through them in just a moment. But my hope is by now you all have gotten started already. Oops. All right, everyone. I'm just for just 2 seconds, I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that I can put my desk on the screen. So give me just one moment. Share desktop, and I don't need to be in the bottom. And this will go to the left, and this will go to the right. And this will become just a touch smaller. All right. It's nice to have, I love seeing the returners. Great to see you all. But also some new faces in here. And she, great to meet you. Glad to have you in the practice hour. And Tammy as well. Nice to have you here as well. I dig the lenses. The white frames are a good look. All right. Mm, mm, mm. So I think I will begin this sort of in pretty typical way for me. I'm just going to get most of my surface wet here with my spray bottle and just start plugging in some colors that I see in the general areas that I see them. I usually like to begin things very general. Large shapes, large areas of color, light, dark, that sort of thing. So here I'm starting with the sky. And then I'll transition into some greens for the areas of grass on either side of the figure. So I'm working on this left side right here, and I can already tell where I've painted, I'm going to need to pick out some of the light. Okay. So I had painted in my puddle of green. Here, let me adjust the focus on this for a minute. There we go, that's better. So my puddle of green here went over that area of where I can tell the book is going to be. And because that's such a bright shape in the painting, and it's so vital to telling the story of the painting, I made a point of putting my brush down, getting a paper towel, and just pulling out that area real quick, because that is definitely a spot that I want to preserve as light. But now that I've gone there, I can keep working around it. It's kind of good because it also helps me see where the arms are going to be. For example, now I might go ahead and start more or less blocking in some of the blue of her sleeve. So that's the shape of the book. Now I can go up like this. The sleeve doesn't come down very far, sort of around here. And the top of her shoulder is in fact white. So I'm just going to get this shape in here for now. I'll worry about the white stuff later. And I'll move to the other side. So I get a little more water on the brush. All right. Then we'll go for some yellow. I want to get that nice big yellow part of her outfit she's wearing. So again, being mindful of the book here, just want to start blocking in generally some of the shapes that I see. All right. So I've gone sky, middle ground, parts of the figure, okay, along with this light area for the book. I think what I'll do now, um, I'll go for something in the bottom. I don't know that I'm going to try to make it that dark right away. But I do want to put something here so it's not just so, it's not light, but like the way it is now. But what I can feel the eagerness in me to get into the shoulders, into, where the shoulder meets the hand, the shadows behind the hand that lead up to the hair and how dark the hair is. And of course, you know, what I can do of the face. Um, Looking at the face, it's interesting that the whole face is darker than the sky around it. I think that's noteworthy. If I look at the part of her face, the way it looks down, and then I look to the right to her sort of hunched shoulder to the right of it, all of that is quite darker than the background next to it. So that's helpful. I don't necessarily need to preserve any light there until I get to the hands, but I'm starting to visualize that gray for her skin on her shoulder, on her neck, on her face, and then how I'm going to darken certain shapes within that gray. For the eye socket or the shadow underneath the nose, for example. I'm talking myself through right now. I don't know that I'm quite going to get there yet, but just thinking ahead. All right, so while I have this dark on my brush, I am trying to pick out some of the shadows now. I could feel it in my hand tightening up, you know? And really, instead of going with something so dark, I want to loosen up a little bit. Instead of thinking of lines, think of shapes. So right now I'm trying to paint the entire head, not just an outline of the head. Just to get its general size and shape. All right. So to me, this stage where I'm at is what I consider having done one lap of the image. So I have a general idea of where things sit next to one another. The overall composition, where my lightest lights, my darkest darks are, but nothing is really, all the pieces are there, but I need to go back around for more laps and develop them a little bit more. So I'm going to switch to a slightly smaller brush. I've been using a flat square brush up until this point. And here, at this stage, I just try to go around and sort of enjoy looking at the piece, honestly. And whatever my eye falls on, I compare what I have to what's there. And I try to just, mix a color that is cohesive enough with everything else. Or at least that's the experience I want to have this afternoon. I don't really want to think about it too hard. Now that I sort of have the blueprint of the composition for myself, I just want to take some time looking at the painting. I'm looking at the landscape here to the left of the figure, noticing parts of the green that are cooler, parts of the green that are warmer. And as my eye wanders, just making little adjustments here and there. Right, so here now moving around the arm. All right, so almost as if by gravitational pull, I went back to the darkest moments in my image, and that's fine, but I don't want to get too, I'm trying to resist the urge to get too lost in all of the darkest things happening in the figure. Um, that can be a real slippery slope, just hunting details and fussing over them. So I'm going to try and take a step back and move to some other parts of the image that could also use attention. It's so dark at the bottom here. I'll have to live with that for now. Maybe start climbing back up her dress here. All right. Getting even closer to shape here. I don't know if I'm even on lap 2 anymore or not. I definitely see some things that I could darken over on this side, but slowly working with my midtones and darker tones to try and put this all together. Again, I don't really have too much of like a recipe. I'm kind of allowing my eyes to wander to whatever parts they want to wander to, and am just addressing them as my eye falls on them. So I want to get to the, especially while my paper's still a little bit moist over here, I want to get to either side of the figure. Let's All right, everyone, just a heads up on time. We're going to continue for a little more than 15 more minutes. All right, just to give you an idea of timing. So not quite the home stretch, but definitely in the last quarter of this practice session. And I am trying I'm seeing all sorts of things in my image that I'd love to change. And I'm trying to discern for myself what would have the most impact. As I'm doing that, my hands tend to have a mind of their own sometimes. And I just want to get some of this a little bit darker up here, darker and grayer. All right. Maybe a little. Squirt, squirt from the spray bottle can help distribute this a wee bit more organically. We'll live with that for now. Maybe go a little bit more into what's happening in the head here. Go. Oops, that's definitely too dark, but we can work with it. All right. So a couple things I'm going to do, and a lot of it has to do with her form. I don't have a wide enough torso for her. She's wider. This shadow back here is wider than how I have it. So I want to take a brush with clean water and I'm going to scrub out just a little bit of this background over here. So I'm basically trying to bring back some of the light of the paper by scrubbing away the layer of paint on top of it, just so her shoulder can extend a little bit more to the right of where I have her body now. Right, I think I'll keep it like that, and then I will widen that shadow. So I'm gonna need to bring something dark in there. Let me mix up a nice sort of violet shadow. Okay. Plenty of pigment, but a little too red. So I'll use this, and I will drop this. God, I would love to have a little bit of water on the paper already, just to, frankly, it's really rare that I paint in watercolor on a perfectly dry surface. I just don't like how precise the marks are. I like a little bit of diffuse. Um, I feel like I can manipulate it better for my images. So it feels uncomfortable for me to paint into a perfectly dry surface and know that, oh, my brush is going to leave paint exactly where it touches. And I don't know that that always suits the way I see things or the way I want things to appear in my image. So there we go. Nice wider shadow. And I'll bring it up over the shoulder. All right, I think for now that'll do. Next, let's work on this hand. So I will, let's see, I want to soften up this shadow on the back of the hand here. Doesn't need to be as dark as I have it. And at the same time, I'm going to go a little bit into that shadow where the lights of the fingers sort of cut into the hand a little bit. I'd love to get some of those happening in my painting. So let's say I have one finger. Let's get a second finger here. There we go. You change the angle of them a little bit. Let's see if I can get that. Make them a little bit wider. They can definitely afford to be a little bit wider. There we go. That's when you like it. Right. So this may be as far as I get with the hand. I'm gonna take a little bit of that green on the left side away as well with my brush so I can widen her wrist. All right. But that may be as much as I do for now on that part. Let's see. It's a pretty wide wrist she has. But for now, that'll have to do. All right. All right. And maybe I'm putting in some final touches for the figure right now. I'm seeing that where the back of her head meets that shoulder that sort of curves nearly horizontally. It's interesting to notice that shoulder meets her head at eye level. I have my shoulder a lot lower. And that's a classic example of painting what you see, not what you think you see. Of course, in my head, I'm like, well, duh, shoulders are beneath the head. But if you look here, yeah, it's that horizontal diamond of an eye in her face, and you look to the right of it, just past the ear, that dark shadow just behind the ear is where her head meets her shoulder. So I'm gonna get a little bit of that in there. Acknowledge that shape. Maybe something a little darker for the eyes. Just some light touches. All right, everyone, how about just a couple more minutes left with this image? So start wrapping up the part of the image you are working on now. And then we will wrap up with a group screenshot, all of our work, and call that a practice session. All right, I think that's as far as I'm going to get now. Not bad, not bad. I have way more light in her face than Kuro does, but I don't really want to touch that too much right now. There are too many wet things happening here, and I know if I fuss with it, I'm just gonna mess all that up. So I think I may just, let's see. How often have any of us gone through that train of thought? No, I know I shouldn't touch it. I'm afraid I'm gonna, mess it up. It's good enough. Look at everything I already have. And then you think to yourself, you know what? I think I could touch this just a couple more times. Good old, good old OCD perfectionist tendencies. Full display out here, but that's all right. Just gotta be really, really careful and aware of how much water you're using and where the water is going. Basically, I want a lot of this to be darker. All right. Maybe just a wee bit more around the cheek here. Voila. Right. I think that may be as far as I could take it now, which is just fine. All right, everyone, how about we start wrapping up where we're painting in the next 30 seconds or so. Whew, man, all right. You know, that may be the thing. I think when I paint by myself, I don't have these time limits that I have with you all. And it's quite wonderful actually, because you have to paint quickly. You can't really have to move around the image quickly. Don't settle too much on any one part. Um, yeah, really lovely. I actually, I gotta say, I really enjoyed this much more than I thought it would. Wow. All right. All right, everyone. I'm going to put this away. Actually, before I do, just a friendly reminder, our next session in November will be Sunday, November 16th at 11 a.m. We started at 11 a.m. Eastern today, so we're sticking with that. But yeah, in about 4 weeks' time, we'll do this again. And now, if all of you could, I would love to see what you've done, and I'll take a quick screenshot of it all. Beautiful. Nice. Nice work. All right. Beautiful, Judith, Roberta. I love the darks in yours. Very good. Yeah, Margaret, hold yours up. Nice and big, Margaret. Beautiful. Beautiful red book. All right. Beth, beautiful drawing. I love it. Frost, you too. Nice work, everyone. All right. Um, Remember, there are things for you in the chat, okay? There are links for you to programs at the Marchutz School, to my workshop at the end of the month. If you want to learn a painting strategy, particularly focusing on color that I use, I will be doing that on October 26th. And of course, if you'd like to make a contribution to the Leo Marchutz School, that link is there as well. So click those links before we sign off so you can have the windows open. and get back to them when it suits you best. Um, Thank you for coming, everyone. It's great to see you all. Great to paint with you all. All right. I look forward to doing it again
Thank
soon.
you.
Nick,
See
quick
you in the next
question for you.
session, maybe a class, maybe a workshop sometime soon. But thank you all for practicing with me today. All right.
Thank
Have a great
you.
weekend.
Hey, Nick, quick
Thank
question
you.
for you.
Yeah, what's up?
When's the latest we can sign up for your color class?
Yeah, I'd say the 24th would be,
Okay.
it's on a Sunday, so that Friday right before. I mean,
Okay.
if someone signs up on the Saturday, I'm not going to refuse anyone entry, really.
I'm
But
just
just as
traveling
far as,
that weekend, so it's a little dicey, and so I wanted to see if it's possible. I'll try to make it.
sure, yeah, yeah. Um, you know, yeah, I'm going to say the 24th right now, just because I want to be
Okay.
able to email everyone with instructions like 24 hours before the workshop comes. But
Yep.
just email me too, depending if things, how things pan out with your travels.
Thank you.
Yeah, of
Thank
course. All right. Ciao, everyone. Take care.